Hey, Steve Gamache here with a little special request answer video. This is for Mike, aka Scaryman MB. Had a question on the Kohetsu HAP40 120 millimeter, how big the handle was, and also suitability for a steak knife. So everybody's got opinions, as they say, but kind of thinking about steak knives, this is a traditional cheapo steak knife. We got a set of these laying around. And you can see the handle's pretty substantial, and it's got that curve to it. It's got the serrations on it. And so this is kind of stuff you get at restaurants or whatever. But it's got a pretty substantial handle for a lot of grip to it. The handle on the Kohetsu 120 is pretty small. It's actually a really nice knife, but it's a small diameter handle. You can kind of see the difference in my hand. This is the Tojiro DP 90 millimeter pairing, and you can see it's not a ton different. It's a little bit bigger, but not a lot bigger, so it's got that characteristic to it. Other types of knives, this one, I think somebody left this at our house, but this is a little Henkel's. I think this is a steak knife of some kind. It's got a little serrations at it, a little bit as well. Again, the handle's a little bit different, but a little bit longer knife. And to compare, this is a handled Kohetsu AS 120. Suitability for steak knives, I don't know. I guess it depends on if you are going to be cutting on any kind of plates or something. You don't want to use a nice knife because that's going to kill the edge really fast, which is why the cheap knives work pretty well. If you intend on getting some cutting boards for people, then you got a little bit different story where you can get a little nicer knife and not worry about edge retention or just killing the edge in one sitting. Personally, I like to, it's just me and my wife usually eating steak, but last night we had pretty thick, like 1.25, 1.5 inch pork chops. And what I did with those is just took a basic Henkel's paring knife and I boned it off the bone, not worrying about the knife too much because it's soft steel. So I took the meat off the bone and then I sliced it up. I actually grabbed the Kiritsuke Gyuto that I have for videos, which slices up just like butter. So I actually like to use, if I can, just a nice 210, 240 Gyuto and take meat off the bone if possible on a regular cutting board and then bring it to table. But if you want people to do it themselves, yeah, you got to think about that. I don't, personally, the 150 might be a little bit lengthwise good enough. I think the 120 might be a little short, but it depends if you want to slice or if you want to saw. So if you don't mind people like slicing and sawing back and forth to get a longer piece of meat cut or a bigger steak cut, it shouldn't be a problem. You've got clearance here. That's not a problem at all. So if people want to grip it, they're not going to get right into the heel. You've got that aspect. I would see maybe what the 150 looks like when that comes out. I just like a little bit longer knife for slicing up meats and steaks like that, but that's just me. So at the table, I don't know. I probably wouldn't be spending $100 per knife on a set of these. Again, if you got wooden cutting boards, it might be worth a while. But I don't know if that's the best opinion for you. This doesn't really, to me, wouldn't make a pretty good slicing knife. I think the handle's a little too big on it. I guess you could, but you can't really pinch it at all. It doesn't work for that too well because you get right on the heel on this knife. Again, I don't know. I don't know if I see myself slicing steak with this personally, but if it was the 150, that might work pretty good. I've used 150 Petties for that before, and they actually work pretty well. I guess you could see what cheaper ones might run. It depends if you like tall ones or not. So I don't know if that's too much of an answer for you, but again, what I do, I like to debone and then cut with a Gyuto or something a little bit longer for slicing, and then just bring it to table or put it on the board and bring it to plate. If you want something for the table, whole nother ball game. So anyway, there you go. As much as that helps, if any, I hope. So thank you.